Let's talk college tuition. But first, we need to take a look back into history to when tuition first began. Let's take a look. Year 1100 to 1200 MC. First universities were established. Few of them charged tuition, and either were supported by the church or the government. Although there were limitations, there were few acceptable fields of study, like law, medicine, theology, and arts, were the only options available at the time. I, Thomas Jefferson, believe that for a government to truly work and people to be good citizens, the population must be educated. We did indeed help start the University of Virginia with a $15,000 grant. In 1810, colleges only provide bare-bones accommodations for students. In the early 1800s, it was common for college students, even those who were quite wealthy, to sleep in barracks and eat less than delicious meals, which helped keep tuition and living costs fairly low. Today, state-of-the-art colleges and facilities cost much more than that to maintain and build, driving up tuition costs significantly. 1900s, Association of American Universities is established. Tuition costs begin to rise. Prior to the Roaring '20s, the turn of the century was a time of commercial expanse and led to the considerable growth in academic wealth and prestige. As part of a movement to standardize education programs, 14 research-based institutions established the Association of American Universities. The association's founders included many of the world's best, such as Yale, Cornell, and Johns Hopkins. Also, an original member of the AAU was Harvard, whose yearly tuition at the time came out at $150 per year. After World War II, there was an increase of men who wanted to attend college. In 1944, the U.S. government passes the GI Bill. This bill helped provide for the returning veterans of World War II and still offers higher education benefits for their counterparts today. Under the legislation, veterans could get college or vocational education for free or at a reduced cost, something that still helps many go to college today. By the time the original bill ended in 1956, 7.8 billion veterans had used it to receive an education or complete training programs. '90s. Student debt begins to pile up and alter life decisions. Tuition costs continued to skyrocket during the 90s, outpacing the rate of inflation by nearly double. At such a ridiculous rate, the government simply could not keep pace with the demand for financial aid. Some of you might think that was a great history lesson. However, there is much to be learned in history. As we look back into tuition, we can see a trend that tuition started out with no price, and we can compare it today in 2019, where tuition is anywhere from $17,000 all the way up to $100,000. You need to know this because when you apply for colleges, you need to know, one, can I afford it? And do I have to apply for financial aids? And so many other things. From the late 1980s to now, the cost of an undergraduate degree has risen by 213% at public schools and 129% at private schools, adjusting for inflation. Inflation is a general increase in prices and fall in the producing value of money. A lot of you might be thinking, why is college so expensive? This is a question that I asked myself many times before. Some reasons are everyone wants to go to college. The demand for higher education increased. The increase in the student population indicates that the advantage of college outweighs the overwhelming cost. Another reason is financial aid causes increase in tuition. Universities raise the rates knowing that students get financial aid. State funding can't keep up with enrollment is another reason. Highly educated professors cost a lot of money. And lastly, student services like counseling and healthcare that weren't there before are growing. Some ways that students keep their costs down is by budgeting. Budgeting is a plan for making and spending money. Students budget, use financial aid, loans, and etc. to afford tuition. To those of you who watch the news, you may have noticed the college admission scandal, and just more and more actors and actresses have been leaked about they have paid their way into college, and a lot of college students are angered by this because they don't have the privilege like the celebrities are, and they're using it in a wrong way by basically cheating their way into college. And college students are mad because they, for one, have to pay their way into college, if that's by their family's money, loans, scholarships that they well earned. That's just something that's relates back to tuition, because those people have to pay for tuition. When the celebrities, yes, they do pay for tuition, but they also pay more than that because they pay for their secret, which is not fair to those who work very hard.